Alright guys, it is January 10th, year of our Lord 2025. So this morning I was on YouTube, and apparently I got a warning because I guess I said something they didn't like about vaccines, so it's disinformation because I don't agree with vaccines, I guess. So so now apparently we can't talk about that. So we don't have constitutional rights on YouTube, apparently. That's good to know. So yeah. And they said that I could fight it, but yet they wouldn't let me prove anything to them. So it's not misinformation, they just refuse to accept facts. Okay. Whatever. They want to live in denial, they can do it. Anyway, there is a lot of stuff going on right now. Trump is getting ready to take office, so there might something might happen next week. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things brewing, and what am I talking about by these weird things? Well, technically speaking, as a felon, you're not supposed to be allowed in politics. You're not allowed to vote. You're not allowed to do any of that stuff. So how can Trump be in office if you're a felon? So this is one way they're trying to railroad Trump out of being president. So he basically, the ruling today was he didn't have to pay a fine, and he's not serving any jail time. So he's just labeled as a felon. Well, the problem is when he became president-elect, he was immune from prosecution. They can't even sentence him. And lo and behold, they did. And the Supreme Court let it go through. So that tells you that there's a problem with the Supreme Courts. They're not even upholding the laws that they swore an oath to protect. So it is a lawless country right now, almost. But in 10 days, I believe Trump will get everything under control. So yeah, I'm not sure how everything's going to work, but all I know is God has this. So it is what it is, and I believe in God, so I believe everything will work out. I think it's just a ploy, and I think all the judges that were involved in these cases are going to be disbarred, more than likely. Unless I can't talk about this either, my opinion. But more than likely, they're going to get in trouble where they're going to be unable to practice law and possibly serve jail time. So, I've heard a lot of talk about that today. So, I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen or not. I do know God has said through prophets, they will not get away with all this. So don't lose hope and faith in this. So I'm doing my best not to. So we'll go from there. And just keep praying to God. And everything works out in God's name. And go from there. There is, I'm wanting to say the other stuff that's going on is there's talks of possibly I'm not going to say war, but we may be having to deal with other countries messing with, like Greenland, Thailand. So we may have to do a few things, but it's not going to be like a endless war type thing. It's going to be knock the crap off, and they're going to say no, and we're going to have to show a little bit of force, and then they're going to knock it off. So that is coming. There is talk of civil unrest here in the United States after Trump takes his inauguration the 20th. So it's possible that's going to come up. So be prepared for that. I think one night I am going to make a video strictly about YouTube policies and show how it's stupid. But not tonight. I know that came out of nowhere, but they've got to get this stuff under control to where you can actually speak your mind without getting your account permanently banned and demonetized and all this other stuff because they don't like what you say. So I thought we were past that. Apparently we're not. So anywho, but I truly believe God is going to straighten everything out. But to get to the light, we got to go through the darkness. So it's going to get rough after the 20th. So prepare. There is going to be a period of time where things are going to look a lot worse than what they are right now. But I guarantee you, it's for the better. So, if this gives anybody hope, that's what I'm trying to do. God has this, and God will prevail over this. We just have to believe in Him and pray to Him. And we need to understand that it's not not just the physical that you need to do. You need to do spiritual prayer. That's when God is telling you to do something. 9 times out of 10, it's to pray for other people. Pray for this country. Pray for the people that are actually fighting. That helps them 10 times more than everybody saying, oh, God's got this, and just sit back and drink tea and do stuff like that. So I'm just saying we need to pray and keep it. Oh, excuse me, that was a yawn. We got to pray and keep it going every month, even when it's a good time. Even after all this dark time passes, we still need to be praying every day. This year is a revival year. We are going to be a lot of people are going to be blessed this year that have never had a blessing before. What do I mean by that? People that have been, I'm going to be honest with you, has been damaged, not physically but spiritually as well. Spiritually broken people are going to be given blessings. The people that you think is hopeless and you can't help, it's because their spirit has been broken, and God's going to go through and fix that. Even though they may not be praying to God, they may think God has abandoned them. He's going to show them that He hasn't abandoned them. He was waiting on them to ask. And because their spirit got broken, they thought they couldn't ask. So God's going to put out a hand and show the people that He's still there. So that is coming. In the Bible, it said something. I am so sorry with Bible verses. I am not versed in all that. Y'all know this. But I do remember reading in the Bible the other day. It said something about those who were last will be first, and the ones that were first will be last. So prophets have talked about the rich being poor and the poor being rich. So it's some of those things that you just gotta understand. I do know the debt is coming to an end. So if you're playing the debt game to be rich, you're fixing to lose a lot of things. A lot of people have told me that me and my wife are being smart right now. That if I can't pay for it out of pocket, I don't pay for it. I don't buy it. I don't get credit cards, debit cards. I don't do that stuff. I don't care what my credit score is. For 2 reasons. One, the way it's supposed to be is if you can pay for it, you can have it. If you can't pay for it, you can't have it. That's one way I was raised. 2, playing games with debt isn't my forte. And in the end, the people that are playing games with debt are going to lose. So I would just rather be the simple person and not play games. That's me. I don't need a credit card. If I don't have the money, we don't have the money. Me and my wife have learned that, and that's the way we do things. I'm not going to go and get a credit card and then go buy a house and then just be in a ton of debt, $200,000, and not have a way to pay it out. So I'm not going to do it. That's why we rent. So but in the Bible, that is what you're supposed to be doing. And in the Bible, it also states that every 7 years you're supposed to forgive all debts. And everybody starts anew. And I think we're going to be getting to that. If you can pay off your debts, pay them off. Don't try to play someone because you're wanting to be greedy and you're wanting to push somebody to be pushing them. But if you owe a debt, pay it. I would go through and do that pretty soon. But I do know debt is fixing to be forgiven, and it's going to be taken out of the system. We're going to be going to a completely new system on everything from the sounds of it. And I do mean a complete new system on everything. So it's going to be a learning curve, and it's going to be some transaction periods that people are going to have to get used to. But we'll get there. Just remember to pray. When in doubt, pray it out. Okay? Yeah, it's very simple. It's easy to remember too. When you're struggling, pray it out. When you don't know how a bill's gonna, how things are gonna meet up, and you're gonna be able to make the payments, pray it out. When you're having a good day, pray it out. When you're having a bad day, pray it out. No matter what you're doing, no matter how you're feeling, pray. I guarantee you'll feel a lot better after you do that. So, but we need to understand that there's just some things people aren't going to like these changes, and there's some things that's just going to be out of our hands. We're not going to have any say so in. God's going to make this decision, and that's the way it is. So I heard a prophet talking about the angel of death touching the earth soon. So, see how that goes. And it's going to claim a lot of lives. So, I don't know. There's supposed to be a big reveal of masks coming off. So I think we're going to find out who the people are that's the actors are and who the legitimate people are. So we'll go through and figure all that out. But I do know they're talking about a lot of people being brought up on charges that I guess YouTube's too afraid for me to talk about. But starts with a T. Those type of charges. So we'll see what happens. But the whole message for tonight is this: no matter what your fear is, no matter what you think is going to happen, no matter what mandates they put into effect, trust God to protect you, not government. That's what I'm going to tell you. So, these fires in California, or Los Angeles, the bird flu pandemic that's going on in California, all this crazy stuff that's going on is, well, let me put it to you this way. Everything's happening for a reason. We just don't know the big picture of that reason yet, but it is happening. And I've noticed something with the Los Angeles fires. A lot of celebrities' houses are getting burnt to the ground. A lot of celebrities' houses. Normally, the celebrity houses aren't even touched when these fires go on. So that makes me wonder what's really going on. So I don't think that's a coincidence. But all I can say is God has his way of doing things, and I'm not interfering with what God's doing. And I will never go against God. And with what he has planned. So I'm not one of those that we'll see what we'll see. We'll see if it actually happens. I have said that tonight, but I'm talking about men making those decisions. When I'm talking about is if God says it, I believe it's going to happen. So if a prophet says, don't fear any shutdowns and stuff like that, guess what? I'm not going to fear the shutdowns. All right? And I hope you do the same. You guys have a good night. Be safe. Have a good weekend. God bless all of you. And I will talk to you guys later. And God bless.